They knew a year out she could be the number one pick. They give her the toughest schedule, early schedule in the league over any other team. And remember, the Indiana Fever were the worst team. So she comes in, they start 1-8. They put nothing but quality veteran teams that had been in the playoffs.
The backlash against the anti-Caitlyn movement grew even stronger after her shocking Team USA snub. Fans couldn't believe it. How could the most popular woman in basketball be left off the original Olympic roster? It felt like a no-brainer. Many compared this year's squad to the NBA's Dream Team, the same way MJ and the '92 team took basketball global. People believed Caitlyn could help do the same for the women's game. That's why her absence made no sense. But now, the committee finally has a chance to fix the mistake that stunned everyone.
Diana Taurasi is injured, and it may open the door for Caitlin Clark to make the Olympic team.
This entire situation becomes even more ironic when you remember Diana Taurasi's warning. She publicly said Caitlin Clark was in for a rude awakening in the WNBA, claiming that dominating 18-year-olds was nothing compared to facing grown women who've played professionally for years. The comments sparked massive backlash. Fans called Taurasi a hater, accusing her of being jealous of the league's new face. But Taurasi doubled down, saying critics were being too sensitive. Then the moment of truth came. When the two finally faced each other, Caitlyn responded the best way possible, on the court. She nearly put up a triple-double, 15 points, 12 assists, and 9 rebounds. After that performance, Taurasi's tone changed completely. Suddenly, she had nothing but praise for Caitlyn's game.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. What Caitlyn's been able to do in her short career so far has just been nothing short of remarkable. And the one thing that I really love about her, she loves the game. You can tell she's put the work in. And even, throughout, her short WNBA career, it's been a lot of pressure, a lot of things thrown at her. And, she keeps showing up and keeps getting better every single game. So her future is super bright.
So replacing Taurasi with Caitlin Clark would make perfect sense, especially if Taurasi can't make the trip to Paris. Caitlyn's popularity is undeniable. She dominated All-Star voting with more than 700,000 votes, blowing everyone else out of the water. For comparison, last year's top vote-getter, Aya Wilson, had just 96,000. That's how massive Caitlyn's impact truly is. But somehow, the WNBA keeps dropping the ball. It's as if they had no idea a once-in-a-generation superstar was coming and weren't prepared to harness the global attention she brought with her.
They knew a year out she could be the number one pick. They give her the toughest schedule, early schedule in the league over any other team. And remember, the Indiana Fever were the worst team. So she comes in, they start 1-8. They put nothing but quality veteran teams that had been in the playoffs. Terrible.
To make matters worse, the league has been scrambling just to keep up with Caitlin Clark and her massive fan base. The Las Vegas Aces, one of the WNBA's most popular teams, had to move their July 2nd matchup against Clark's Fever to a larger 18,000-seat arena. The Los Angeles Sparks were even planning to play their first 5 home games at Long Beach State because of renovations. But once a game with the Fever was scheduled, they quickly shifted those matchups back to the arena they share with the Lakers. And if that wasn't enough, both the WNBA and the Olympic Committee seemed desperate to show they're avoiding favoritism. But it's gone too far. Their decisions aren't just neutral, they're actively hurting Caitlyn, and they're slowing down the growth of the entire women's game.
Then the league got, this is what happens sometimes with soccer fans. They feel ignored, and WA fans feel ignored. So they get very precious, very tribal, very insular. She's not going to make the USA women's basketball Olympic team. And you're like, are you crazy?
Instead of looking at the Olympic roster from a business standpoint, the committee seems to be making decisions emotionally. That includes Team USA head coach Cheryl Reeve. Reeve recently went on X to promote an upcoming Lynx preseason game, and in the same breath, she criticized how games without star rookies weren't being broadcast. She used hashtags like #Gen112teams and #MoreThanOnePlayer, making it obvious she had an issue with Caitlin Clark's spotlight. Then the Olympic roster dropped, and Caitlin wasn't on it. The backlash was immediate, with many questioning Reeves' influence on the decision. Reeve later claimed the choice was contentious, but said it ultimately came down to experience and standard procedure. Caitlin didn't attend training camp because she was busy with March Madness, and she didn't have a perfect start to the WNBA season. But let's be honest, rookies almost never make the team, even when they follow every step of the process. Her explanation sounded less like policy and more like an excuse designed to keep certain players happy.
There's a lot of sycophants in the media. They feel like the sport's been ignored, so they're part of the brigade to support it, and that's fine. But let's be honest about it. The sport made a terrible decision on the Olympic team. The scheduling early, even though they knew she was coming out and probably going to be a #1 pick a year earlier, about the time they were making schedules.
Caitlin Clark has already silenced every critic. She became the first WNBA rookie ever to record a triple-double, and the first player in Indiana Fever history to do it. She leads all rookies in both scoring and assists, and she currently ranks 3rd overall in the entire league in assists. She broke milestones at a historic pace. Fastest WNBA rookie to reach 100 points and 50 assists, doing it in just 8 games. Fastest player since 1998 to record 150 career assists. Set a franchise record with 7 assists in the first quarter, plus new Fever records for most assists in a single quarter and most assists in a single game. And that's just on the court. Off the court, she's an absolute phenomenon. Ratings, jersey sales, merchandise, and sponsorships skyrocket every time she plays. In terms of cultural impact, she's already on the level of NBA superstars. This is exactly why the Olympic Committee cannot afford to repeat their earlier mistake. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star. She's the engine driving women's basketball into a new era.
It's like, now you made a big mistake the first time, not putting her on the Olympic team. Don't double down on dumb. Get her on the team. Give us a reason to watch the Olympic women's team. You guys win gold every year. Your competition's weak. You win it every year. Give us a reason. Quadruple your television rating.
And honestly, Cowherd makes a solid point. Women's international basketball isn't like the men's game. On the men's side, the rest of the world has caught up, which is why we now see tight battles and even Team USA losses in both the Olympics and the World Cup. But in women's basketball, it's a completely different story. Team USA hasn't lost a major tournament since 2006, and before that, 1992. They've won 7 straight Olympic gold medals, and they are once again the overwhelming favorites to win it all. So if the dominance is already guaranteed, why not use this moment to grow the sport even more by including the biggest superstar women's basketball has ever seen? Adding Caitlin Clark only boosts global interest, expands viewership, and elevates the entire competition.
Promoting not only the other women on the team that could get endorsements, but promoting your sport. There's a reason that top movie stars and top athletes use the same 4 or 5 agents, because they can handle it. They don't get overwhelmed. Women's basketball has felt overwhelmed here. You got your Conor McGregor.
At the end of her college career, Caitlin Clark was crowned the GOAT of TV ratings by the Wall Street Journal, which reported that no modern athlete has boosted viewership the way she has. Her WNBA debut against the Connecticut Sun on May 14, 2024, became the most-watched WNBA game since 2002 and the most-watched game ever on ESPN2 or any cable network. Just 4 days later, her matchup with the New York Liberty shattered the league's ABC viewership record, drawing 1.71 million viewers. The following week, more of Clark's games broke additional WNBA viewership records across ESPN and NBA TV. Nearly every historic rating milestone this season has her name attached. In fact, 12 of the 13 most-watched games this year have featured Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. The only exception was a late May game between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty. Caitlin isn't just playing in the league. She's redefining its entire audience.
Basketball terms, this is a layup. In NBA terms, it's a slam dunk. If you can get her on the Olympic team, you missed the first time, do it the second time. You're doing yourself a favor. Don't get in the way of yourself.
Don't stand in your own way. It's unbelievable that this is even a debate. Ask anyone outside the committee, and the idea of leaving Caitlin Clark off the Olympic roster would sound impossible. Yet somehow, this conversation has spiraled out of control that if Caitlin doesn't replace Taurasi on the team, it raises serious questions about whether an anti-Caitlin bias exists within the league. It sounds absurd, considering she's elevating the level of play, boosting national interest, and generating record-breaking revenue. But with the way certain media figures and WNBA veterans keep pushing Angel Reese as Rookie of the Year over Caitlin, despite the numbers, it almost feels like some people don't actually want the sport to grow. Maybe they're comfortable with the league staying small. Maybe they don't want a superstar who brings real change. But anyone outside that bubble can see what needs to happen. Caitlin has earned her spot, and she's earned it on merit, numbers, and impact. Hopefully, the committee steps up and